We're reading in the writings of Bala Sulam, Kabbalah for the Student in English, article Introduction to the book Panim Umeirot Umasbirot, item 13, page 450. Questions, you can ask them at kab.tv. Kabbalah for the Student, article Introduction to the book Panim Meirot Umasbirot, item 13, page 450. Now you can understand the need for the breaking of the vessels and their properties, as it is written in the Zohar and in the writings of the Ari, that two kinds of light are present in each 10 Sfirot running back and forth. The first light is Or Ein Sof, light of infinity, which travels from above downwards. It is called Or Yashar, direct light. The second light is a result of the Kli of Malchut, returning from below upward, called Or Choser, reflected light. Both unite into one. Know that from the Tzimtzum downward, the point of Tzimtzum is devoid of any light and remains a vacant space. The upper light can no longer appear in the last Bechina before the end of correction, and this is said particularly about the Or Ein Sof, called Or Yashar. However, the second light, called Or Choser, can appear in the last Bechina, since the case of the Tzimtzum did not apply to it at all. Now we have learned that the system of the Sitra Achra and the Klipot, shells, is a necessity for the purpose of the Tzimtzum, in order to instill in a person the great vessels of reception while in Katnut, when one is dependent on her. Thus, the Sitra Achra too needs abundance. Where would she take it if she was made solely of the last Bechina, which is a space that is vacant of any light, since from the Tzimtzum downward, the upper light is completely separated from it. Hence, the matter of the breaking of the vessels has been prepared. The breaking indicates that a part of the Or Choser of the world of Nikudim descended from Atzilut out to the vacant space, and you already know that Or Choser can appear in the vacant space as well. That part, the Or Choser, that descended from Atzilut outwardly, contained 32 special Bechinot, discernments, of each and every Sfira of the 10 Sfirot of Nikudim. 10 times 32 is 320, and these 320 Bechinot that descended were prepared for the sustenance of the existence of the lower ones, which come to them in two systems, as it is written, God hath made even the one as well as the other, meaning the world's Abiyah of Kedusha, and opposite them, the world's Abiyah of the Sitra Achra. In the interpretation of the verse, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, our sages said that when one rises, the other falls, and Tzor is built only over the ruins of Jerusalem. This is so because all these 320 Bechinot can appear for the Sitra Achra, at which time the structure of the system of Kedusha, with respect to the lower ones, is completely ruined. Also, these 320 Bechinot can connect solely to Kedusha. At that time, the system of the Sitra Achra is completely destroyed from the land, and they can divide more or less evenly between them, according to people's actions. And so, they incarnate in the two systems until the correction is completed. After the breaking of the vessels and the decline of the 320 Bechinot of sparks of light from Atzilut outwards, 288 of them were sorted and rose, meaning everything that descended from the first 9 Sfirot in the 10 Sfirot of Nikudim 9 times 32 are 288 bechinot, and they are the ones that reconnected to the building, the system of Kedusha. You find that only 32 bechinot remained for the Sitra Achra from what had descended from Malchut of the world of Nikudim. This was the beginning of the structure of the Sitra Achra in its utter smallness, when she is as yet unfit for her task. The completion of her construction ended later by the sin of Adam Rishon with the tree of knowledge. Thus, we find that there are two systems, one opposite the other, operating in the persistence and sustenance of reality. The ration of light needed for that existence is 320 sparks. Those were prepared and measured by the breaking of the vessels. This ration is to be swaying between the two systems, and that is what the conducts of sustenance and existence of reality depend on. You should know that the system of Kedusha must contain at least a ration of 288 sparks to complete her 9 upper sfirot, and then it can sustain and provide for the existence of the lower ones. This is what it had prior to the sin of Adam Harishon, and for that reason the whole of reality was then conducted by the system of Kedusha, since it had the full 288 sparks.
Well, we basically learned these things in various ways through the articles Talmud Sfirot or Pticha, preface. What he wants to say is that the light, because it comes through 10 Sfirot, we generally have 288 sparks, 320 sparks, and then later, if we divide these 10 Sfirot to 9 and the 10th Sfira, which is Malchut, that cannot receive, then it turns out that 288 sparks belong to the 9 Sfirot, and what belongs to the 10th Sfira is 32. And we always have this dilemma. How far can we draw the light into the first 9 Sfirot, and how much can we limit the Malchut so that it doesn't receive its 32? Because it can't receive them in order to bestow, only in order to receive. So our whole scrutiny is sorting out the Sfirot, how to classify them this way or that way, on the one hand. On the other hand, how can we achieve a state where we fulfill only the first 9 Sfirot? That's our work until the end of correction. By correcting the first 9 Sfirot, meaning cleaning them from the waste, filling them with these lights, or the 288 sparks, so we reach a point where we have only the empty parts of Malchut and the 32 lights that correspond to them, and they can't be clothed in them, and we maintain that emptiness of Malchut until the end of correction, and then when there's a real state, after we actually corrected the first 9 Sfirot and fulfilled them with lights, and we also corrected the Malchut by not allowing any light to appear there, because it could only appear in order to receive, where in the first 9 Sfirot it could appear in order to bestow. So then we reach a point where, after we made the scrutiny and classification, comes the action of Rav Ba'alim Mekaptziel, which is an action that corrects all those vessels together. That's how we advance. So that calculation of 320 refers to all the lights of all the Sfirot. 288 refers to the first 9 Sfirot, And 32 refers to the last Sefirah. Why do we have 32? Because it's 8 times 4. Yes, please.
How can we properly depict this? That it happened, that it happens.
All these things happened in our roots. And we reveal these things as we advance from below upwards. But it all happened prior to us. We learn the wisdom of Kabbalah and refer to time as an order of actions. In the actions of the Creator, there is an order, and without that order or structure, we can't talk about anything. And that order is one of cause and effect, cause and consequence. After there was a creation of a desire to receive, there was a fulfillment of the light, and then the sense of shame, the action of tzimtzum, restriction, then the masach, the decision to receive in order to bestow as much as possible. Malchut remains empty. We don't know what to do with it when it stays empty from tabu and below. And all the parzufim cannot appear there. Only the light of Chasadim can then appear there. And then by the light of Chasadim, Malchut connects with Bina. Then there's a tzimtzum there. And so on and so forth. We learn about those gradual actions that took place before we actually become aware of ourselves. What happens after I feel myself? Then I'm born. And from that moment on, I begin to sense myself. Before that, there's nothing to talk about. You can say, yeah, but there were people before you too. I don't know what you mean before me. As I'm born, I sense reality. And then I can say, in my perception and sensation of reality, I think there are people that have been born before me. And some are already dead. But that is from my reality. That's how I perceive and I determine. It's not that it happened to someone else. Who's them? Them meaning I feel them. Those that I imagine in my mind. Therefore, our whole work is with our general inner desire. And that's what we need to classify. But as we approach this classification, I should say from this moment on, when I'm born, what can I do and what preparations already lie in me with which I can begin to clarify things. So, although I begin to judge reality from the moment I'm born, reality in general, not just my reality, I should also know that there was a preparation for my sense of reality, which was done by the Creator. And all those actions prior to me, I attribute to Him. He created those preparations and foundations within me. From that moment I'm born, I begin to sense that there's a wide world around me, there's a whole reality, mother and father and other things. Who are they? What are they? Why are they doing what they're doing? That's the whole system that was created by the Creator to take care of me. The whole reality I see around me, other people and everything that's happening, that is all made by the Creator in order for me to start working.
So is there a connection between our daily lives and what he writes here?
Of course. In our day-to-day life, we also go through the same discernments. We make the same discernments. You know, you think there's a moment that is unnecessary? What?
I'm trying to connect between what he's writing here and what happens to us and what happens to a person in his day-to-day life.
No, you can't say that. what happens here in our world, it happens because it comes from above in order to bring us to an awakening, to see, to make the new discernments, to feel new discernments. What you read about in Talmud Asar Sfirot are things that the Kabbalists discovered within. They name those things with their sensitivity, not with your sensitivity. You can say, but what I feel now, what I see now, do these things happen in what I feel as well? Of course. Where do they happen? Inside of me, in my matter. Why don't I sense them? Because you don't have the sensitivity. You need to bring yourself to those qualities of the phenomena you wish to feel. If I don't have in my senses the same phenomena, then how will I sense them? So we have to acquire them. We have to literally acquire them, obtain them.
Is it worthwhile for me to feel this? How do I feel it? So meaning what?
You should feel it for sure, because without sensing the ruin, as it says here, without the breakage of the vessels, you cannot achieve the scrutiny, the clarification. Without having clarification, you can't achieve correction. Without making correction, you can't reach the purpose of creation. So of course you should. And if you won't, you'll be forced to do it, only by unpleasant situations. Yes?
But what is it talking about here?
We're talking about your desire being incorporated, consisting of 320 sparks, and you need to scrutinize them. You need to draw the light that will make this exact division between the 32 and the other 288. And altogether it's 320 sparks that are in you, and by the light that comes, it kind of cuts those 320 to 288 and 332. And with the 32, you don't do anything. You just restrict it as if it's not there. And with the 288, you begin to work. That's where you can receive in order to bestow.
Can you depict that in words, in a language, in an emotional language?
I am excited by the 288. Well, what do you want me to dance? What do you mean emotionally? I can enjoy the 288 sparks on the condition that I can enjoy bestowal. That's the minor problem we have. If I can enjoy giving to you, then I perform that action and I enjoy. I gave something. Why? To whom? I made some calculations where it was worthwhile for me to give to you. What worthwhile means? That we are together in one body as one man, connected together according to the Creator's will, and therefore I bestow upon you to bestow upon him, and so on. If I make these calculations, if I'm capable of giving to you, and I examine myself, seeing if it's not for myself, and if I don't benefit, or it is obvious to me that I can't have self-benefit, because no one really benefits from reception. And we're just living in a lie that we're benefiting from reception. So the benefit is from bestowal. What is the benefit? That I bestow. But what is the added thing? There's nothing added. The action itself is the value. It's called the reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah. Or even better, the reward of a mitzvah is to know who gives the mitzvah. And therefore we make these actions. And what's written here, or generally what's written in tests, are all those actions that happen within us. Each and every second, each and every moment, thousands of actions, infinitely. We just can't sense it, because we're below this threshold of consciousness. We don't have the sensitivity. For instance, there are many waves, radio waves, and cellular waves, and electromagnetic waves. Imagine yourself that everything that is, all those waves that are working here in the city are going through you. Billions of phone calls, so to speak. You could go crazy if you would feel it. And all, including all the TV channels and radio and many other things we don't know. I'm just giving you this as an example, that using some devices you can perceive those waves, and without those devices you can't. So in the same way, we need to realize that we are in nature, spiritual nature. And these are all those actions that Talmud Sfirot and Kabbalah in general talks about. And we need to start detecting these actions. The sensitivity to it is a sensitivity to the quality of bestowal. I have to be sensitive to bestowal. What is it to bestow? To whom? What is the reward for it? What is worthwhile here? Is it worthwhile? Why? If I begin to engage in that, then I develop a sense in me to qualities of bestowal, and then it's like I begin to hear those waves of bestowal, just like radio waves. I begin to have this receiver within that can receive these waves, frequencies of bestowal, and they are called lights. And through these frequencies I begin to discover the source of these waves, of these lights. Where do they come from and what for? What's the purpose? What is the reason? And most of all, what is the source, the provider of all those waves? And that's the Creator. But all of that is on the condition that I design this receiver in me. I have to have these qualities within. It's according to the law of equivalence, the law of resonance. I can perceive a wave that is outside. I have to have that same wave, the same frequency from within. Then I can perceive it from the outside. In a radio receiver, there is a common wave with the outer wave. And because there are smaller frequencies outside, what? No, it's not noises, it's like harmonics. It's like other additional harmonies. It's like additions. You have a wave, right? A certain frequency. Let's say 93. What do you like? 95. 66. No, 66 is just a number. I'm talking about hertz. So there are all those little additions to them. In your receiver, you need to have this 93 frequency, and then you perceive it. As you perceive it, you pass it through your, let's say, detector, or doesn't matter what, but it is something that does a filtering. So you pass that wave through this device, and this big frequency, 93 or 100 hertz, is sent below. You don't need it, but what is on it, the song or the one who's talking or whatever, is what gets sent to you. I don't know what are the professional terms here. What can I do? But this is eventually what reaches your ear. That's how it works. It's the same thing here. The principle is exactly similar. You didn't learn anything in school. Well, what can we do? Our education here is really...
And then what do I hear?
You hear what the guy in the studio says to the microphone. I don't know how to sketch this microphone, but someone is talking and he sends that wave through a device, and it's those little audio voice waves that kind of dress with that 93 big frequency, and through your antenna you capture them here, and this is how it reaches you. The principle is the same in everything, whether it's TV, radio, all you're doing is sending a wave and capturing a wave, that's all. It's the same thing. We need something fundamental, like a foundation, which is that 93 frequency, that force of bestowal, and on it there are smaller frequencies that you start perceiving. So you need to have the common force of bestowal. That's the thing you need to be in equivalence with. The force of bestowal. And those little forces are what he sends you. Those forces of fulfillment that are small in the meantime. On that condition you can have them.
But what are these small forces?
Illumination of Chokhmah, light of Chokhmah that comes to you. That's the light of Chokhmah that you can receive. Because your inclination, your tendency is to be in line with the general wave of bestowal.
These are pleasures, feelings, mind, intellect, knowledge.
It's good. Okay? Connecting to good. You give us a nice, sketch a nice diagram for us, okay? Or some other people who can do it, and we'll use it. I didn't think I need to explain these things. I'm not taking these, what you know or don't know, into account.
I wanted to ask in this diagram, what is the antenna of the Bore, of the Creator, and what is my antenna?
Oh. I can... By the way, it doesn't have to be an antenna. It can be just a simple wire. It doesn't have to be in great distances. It's not the distance. It's just the mutual connection, contact. It can be through the air or through a simple wire. Or look how it works through the computer. You don't have to send it through the air or send it through a wire. It doesn't matter. You can use many things here. What matters is that you need to gain contact, make a connection. And when we're talking about this connection, so you can put it like this. What is the actual device by which I make the connection? Let's say there's a frequency here and a frequency here, or an antenna here and an antenna here. How do I make the connection? That's the group. You have no other place where you can make contact with that wave, that frequency that comes from the giver. You have to enter a reception range, a range where you have a reception. That is between the friends, among the friends. That's where this wave exists. You get out of it, you can't perceive it.
I understand the matter of the group and the environment of the frequency, but from his side, what does he broadcast?
The Creator?
Yeah, what does come out of him? What does come out of him towards me?
Fulfillment for your soul. This, the main fundamental wave is only for you to achieve equivalence of form. And those little, smaller waves are the fulfillment for your soul. This is what gives you mind and emotions and insights, being like Him, in control, in understanding, in everything. This one is chasadim, and these are chokhmah. And the reception range or perception range is the group. You get out of it, you can't perceive, because you can't aim yourself in order to bestow. It doesn't matter how much you try to aim yourself inside of you, it won't work. You have to go into the range where it exists. Simple.
There's an interesting phenomenon. First of all, we talked about that we can only perceive what is not equivalent to us, what's bigger or smaller than us. But this matter of the equivalence is something necessary.
Correct, because if you're talking about your ego, you cannot detect the quality of equivalence. If you want to identify equivalence, you have to be above your ego. That's exactly right. I understand why you're saying this, but look, don't take a transmitter and a receiver here that are in an egoistic world. They're in a world of bestowal. That's why you need to come out of yourself and begin to detect this wave of bestowal. And there is an equivalence here. They're equal. Why do we need the group to reach the Creator? I cannot be equal with the Creator. I can't. I'll always somehow lie to myself. But equal, I can't be with Him. I'll be corrupt, or I'll be greater or smaller, or I want to be like a baby towards the Creator with my caprices, or I'm willing to nullify myself and that He'll govern me. Or equal is only through the group. The group is that mechanism through which I achieve equivalence, equality. In frequencies, in qualities, in emotions. That's the only way I can calibrate myself. Because the group is an imagination. It doesn't exist. That mechanism exists in my imagination only in order for me to achieve equivalence. And that equivalence is not in nature. Okay? We started talking about new discernments. It's good. Yes.
With this example of the modulation, with radio, we do this to make a signal with something greater. With us, you can say that there's a differentiation between chasadim and chokhmah. Why is there light of chokhmah?
Then you won't have an equivalence. You need two things. You need to be equal and then be fulfilled. How will you do it? You need one pipe inside another. You need the light of chasadim and the light of chokhmah. You need both.
Why can't it just be with on the side of the receiver, not with chokhmah?
You're saying, I just want light of chokhmah. He should give me and send me the light of chokhmah, right? Doesn't work. He doesn't want to give you the light of chokhmah because you'll be blocked, just like you're blocked now in this world by pleasures. You'll immediately cancel your will to receive. He wants to open your will to bestow. What for? In order for you to have an unlimited kli. That's the only reason. Only that. It's as if you bestow upon someone. You really don't bestow upon anyone. No one needs anything from you. And what can you bestow? The Creator is really the one who bestows. But He needs you to be in this motion of bestowing. To bestow. If you're in this direction, He can fulfill you infinitely. Continuously. And this is why it's the condition. It seems like we're doing a favor to someone, we're sacrificing ourselves. Who sacrifices anything? You're only opening up your kli. That's the condition for being unlimited in receiving the abundance. Because the will to receive itself will become fulfilled. And this way, it'll neutralize the pleasure and stay empty. Look what happens these days. We're seeing the outcome. There's no better exercise than this. Take a person, as he told us, take a person who's poor, standing on the street somewhere, and start fulfilling him. What will happen? He'll enjoy it first, then stop enjoying, and eventually hate you, and so on. Eventually, what will he do? Kick you away, and will feel better off being on the street. When he used to get a piece of bread, he was happy. Ah, that was a pleasure. And if you put him next to the table and give him everything, he'll start disrespecting everything, and that's it. Because it's a will to receive. It doesn't enjoy something bigger or smaller. It enjoys its own kli, its own sensitivity. Rabash always gave an example. He said, people who came to the land of Israel after the Holocaust, they said, when we were there, we ate things and there was so many flavors there. What did you eat? Where? In the camps. What did you eat? Bread. What was it made from? Nothing, from grains, from grass. But there was such a great flavor. Why? Because if you don't eat for 10 days, try doing that, and then eat a piece of bread that is thrown away to the garbage, and you'll feel the same taste. Meaning you're thinking about an abundance, but the problem is not with the abundance. The problem is the desire for it, the deficit. That's what we need to develop. The abundance is right here, right now. The light is in complete rest. There are no vessels for it. The vessels open up only by the light of chasadim. That's the means by which to open the deficit. That's all. It's not like the Creator wants to see you similar to Him. He wants it, He doesn't have anything better to do. It's his thing. No, we don't understand. It's a necessity. The more we delve into this, we as if see that it's a law that is above Him. Yes.
Okay, if I'm driving in a car and I'm listening to the radio and I want to stop at the station, so I go left and right, and in order to find the right maximum volume, what's the work of that with us?
It's not the volume, you're changing the frequency, meaning you're changing your quality of bestowal with respect to the giver. And accordingly, you perceive different bands, different stations. You're changing from one coarseness to another level of coarseness, and by that you absorb different frequencies. That's all.
Yeah, I'm moving around the frequency, but what I know is that I reach this station and I'm receiving. I'm receiving the cleaner or greater station. What is our work in order to govern this movement?
On top of the will to receive that is in you, you need to start operating it in a frequency of bestowal.
But how do I know if I'm going towards that frequency properly?
Exactly the same way, according to your reception, that's all. How else can you know? It's called by your actions we know you. Did you get anything? You didn't get anything, so you're not in bestowal yet. That's it. Very simple. You can say, but I'm seeing that in a radio, I'm seeing that when I'm going closer to some station. It says here, this and that station. And here, it doesn't say. Well, yes and no. If you already reach a point where you can start turning the dial, then you feel that you're getting closer. You have some sort of senses developed within where you come to know what it means to be closer to the right frequency, to bestowal. This is something that exists. This is called one's souls shall teach one.
From Angeles is asking whether the mega congress that's coming up can act for us as this antenna.
We should develop many things like this, like the Mega Congress, because the whole correction can be done only if we connect together. We will make this conference at the end of the month, and we'll learn what to do next as well. Maybe we can do these events for 2 days or for 1 day, but more often we didn't manage to do it this time, but we need to put more people, many more people into the preparations. We need to harness and connect people that are, that feel far away. We need to bring them in and to join in. To join in, I mean to turn on their computer screen and take part in that way. We need to perhaps prepare things that will be in the Congress in advance, all kinds of cultural and entertainment and karaoke or whatever, and even make sure that people know the songs in advance. If I know a song in advance, I can enjoy it better. We know it. In the first time, we only create the kli. In the second time, we begin to enjoy it. You remember this principle. So, we have to advertise the songs and all the material in advance. Don't think that people won't enjoy it. They'll enjoy it more. If you repeat something, you enjoy it better. So, in short, we need to come out with this as much as possible, because in our days, as the crisis is escalating globally, we need to widen our dissemination. And I hope that right after this, we'll draw the conclusions and see how did we succeed, and we'll really self-scrutinize and see what we need to change and what we can do, and keep doing these conferences, meetings. I also ask people to come together physically. If they're in one city, in the same area, they should have some sort of a physical connection. We can't put the whole world in some physical place together and be there. But in a common wave, as we learned from here, we can share it all over the world. And this is something that the Internet allows us to do. There's a reason why the Internet developed. And let's hope we come to a state where everyone will absorb, perceive, and transmit that wave of love and bestowal and connection and unity and his desire for higher spiritual life, and that's how we'll succeed.
You talked about the receiving closer or further away. So he's talking about with the Mega Congress, how can we promote this Congress to people who are on the street? How do we promote it to people who aren't studying?
I spoke about it yesterday also. Our material in this Congress is perhaps not simple enough and not close enough for a person who just came by, for the first time. Perhaps it's too abstruse, for people who are in the know, so to speak. So next time, we have to make sure that the material is closer to anyone who joins in, so a person can easily understand what are these people about. What are they doing it for? What is it? Is it just nonsense? Are they playing games, or is there a serious purpose here? Or something that is really desired for each and every one? Each and every one in the world, and so on. That is, we need to prepare many simple, short explanations, video clips, things that explain to a person so he can quickly taste something and see where he is. Whereas today, if he comes in, it'll be weird for him to see and try to understand it. He won't get it. He won't see what it's about. Okay, so there's an organization of people who try to have fun together, conferencing with each other. Okay, why do I need to be with them? There has to be an immediate, easy explanation. And there also has to be a campaign in advance, and like a preparation or a quick crash course that explains the purpose of this action. So perhaps this time we're not ready for this, and let's hope we will quickly fix it.
At the end of the mega congress, there's going to be also an evening of we are all together, Kulanu Yachad. Because so many people are gathering around the world, can we also make this Kulanu Yachad evening we're making like international congress, like we've made previously? And if it is such a convention, what is the benefit of people coming to it?
In November, we're going to have a big convention in Israel, to which we invite everyone. Each and everyone and anyone is invited to come. We want to see everyone. How many people? I don't know. Last time we had 6,000 people. We want to have 10 times more. What does it matter? Or 100 times more. Then we'll have 600,000. But what am I trying to say is that the intensity, the power of connection is different. However, by these numerous actions, many actions of coming together in many places, and let's hope we can do these conferences once a month for a day or 2 days, or once in 2 months for 1 day. We'll see. By that, we'll be doing the same action, perhaps even better at the end of the day, and after many such virtual actions. So it's not like one is coming in the place of another. So we have to do at least one Congress here for people to come here and be as guests here in our center and in the place of the where we hold this big convention once a year. We'll see, but it's not like one cancels the other. Eventually, the future is obviously these virtual connections.
How can we, each one of us, connect this wave to one wave, one mutual wave?
We all have to be connected to the same one thing, to study together, think together, read together, make daily similar actions. If I am in my will to receive, in a group that I feel that is one, and a goal that is one, Israel, the lights and the Creator are one, then there's no problem, we're one.
There are a lot of conventions and unity evenings. Once you said in terms of disrespecting these things, that each and every person, a person disrespects these opportunities. If we recognize that we disrespect these opportunities, what do we do?
A concern in a person's heart should be, he should speak of it with others. We have to make sure that the friends are concerned and afraid of wasting their moments. We should make sure that the friends will sense that there's no one else besides Him, that we're in a process, that the Creator tightly shakes us up. We have a few friends now that are feeling a harsh blow through different things. Despair, whether it's despair or their work or their business or all kinds of other things, other problems. We have to make sure that everyone thinks that there is none else besides Him, and all those things are happening to them only because they lack the greatness of the Creator, the greatness of the goal, and that they can attain it only by the connection with the group. And what they lack, and I see it on each and every one of them, is the connection with everyone, and in this equal way, as we talked about today. And therefore, we need to clarify these things and also make sure that this concern belongs to everyone. You can't hold everyone through text messages and mechanically, physically shake up people all the time. Only mentally, internally. That's the arvut that I'm concerned about. Everyone, that they will always... It's like a mother taking care of her babies. She can't keep yelling all the time. Her concern goes to them. This is how we should be concerned. Make sure that our friends, all of them, are connected and to the goal, and we all reach this one frequency.
Some announcements to end with. On Friday we have a day at B'tei Kabbalah in Israel. At 3 o'clock there is the Parashat HaShavua weekly portion lesson, and at 4:15 p.m. we have the Shevet Achim, the Yeshivat Chaverim made specially for Israel. Everything is coming to unite. And the social meeting for the whole Israeli Kli. We're building a new spiritual environment. This Sunday at 8:15 p.m. Go to kab.co.il to find out about it. Everyone's invited to come physically to your centers in Israel. The worldwide mega congress. We're inviting you to 3 days of unity and love for the whole world, 23 until 25th of July 2010. Go to Kabbalah.info and click the link there to find the place near you where there's a congress, or contact us for more information. Mega Congress, the worldwide Mega Congress, unity all around the world. With that, we're going to finish. Thank you and good day.
שואלים את השאלה של מה הטעם בחיים, רק אם נתאחד נצא מהסתרה. עכשיו אנו אומרים נעשה וגם נשמע, רק אם נתאחד נצא מהסתרה. עכשיו אנו אומרים נעשה וגם נשמע. תן לנו את הכוח ורצון להתגבר, על הכל ביחד נתגבר. נטפס על הסולם, אנחנו לא נוותר. תן לנשמה להתעורר. ננסה לבד, אף פעם לא נמצא מהי השיטה לפוצץ את המחיצה. נקבל ערבות, נחזק את הקבוצה. עכשיו אנו אומרים נעשה וגם נשמע. נקבל ערבות, נחזק את הקבוצה. עכשיו אנו אומרים